Many people are beginning to look around, knowing that something isn't quite right. Nowadays, almost worse than the 60s, we're inundated with so many cultural issues, gender wars, race wars, political wars, and so many polarizing issues. So much that it's becoming apparent that mankind is living way beneath its potential. I don't crank out videos at the same frequency as many other vloggers. That's primarily because I spend most of my time researching, reading, and learning, and I try not to gossip, just to stay relevant. Generally, I try to share useful information. I'm not really interested in repeating things you've heard already, or being the first to break it. I try to be impactful if I can. And I wanted to make my first video of 2018 something important and helpful to set the year off in the right direction. With that said, there is nothing more important than for each of us to break free of the mental prisons we live in and escape the matrix. That includes the media programming, which is what I focus on a lot on this channel. But that also includes education, science, the entertainment industry, and everything the powers that be use to keep you imprisoned in a false sense of reality. No, this message isn't for everyone. We know that. There are way more people asleep than awake. Regardless, there is a lot of people waking up. I'm just one of many people trying to provide information to help the shift along. And as people are trying to wake up, there are traps all over the place to keep you lowering your vibration and lowering your frequency. And when you are successfully kept vibrating low, the system can more easily control you and keep you trapped to a lower version of yourself. Here are some basic ways that could help break you out of the matrix. 1. Open your mind and get to know and respect what you don't know. What stands in a lot of people's way is a regressive mindset. People trust the system and common knowledge way more than they ought to. So people arrogantly think they know things without truly being sure of what they know at all. Most people don't truly know anything. And that's how the system is designed, even in the language you speak. Your mind is the most important element to all of this. This is how regressive mindsets work. In the matrix, we keep each other under control and locked in the system. We shut ourselves and each other down from thinking without even realizing it. The matrix conditions us to be non-thinking drones. We don't really rely on evidence. We don't really use critical thought. We just repeat information we're programmed with. One might wonder, well, how can this even happen? Most people don't think of themselves as stupid. Well, it's not that anyone's stupid. It's that most people don't even realize that your subconscious thought is worked on over long periods of time. And without even being conscious of it, the comedians, talk show hosts, news commentators, celebrities, and public figures, and not all, some of them are woke, but a lot of them pull you in to something called proof by assertion. And we all just kind of socially and culturally agree on certain things as not true and on other things as true, without realizing they were cultivated lies they wanted you to believe. So unfortunately, we have so many people who don't even stand a chance, walking around repeating and sharing information they've never even bothered to question. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a friend about vaccines and the unspoken about health risks. Now, what you think is neither here nor there. This is just to make the point. The subject of autism and other developmental issues was brought into the equation. Now, before one point was made, and before my position was even presented, she quickly took authority as if she knew something that I didn't, and quickly went into a weird kind of dismissal, like, oh, no, it's not because of that. She has a great career and she's intelligent. But this type of mindset she displayed is a perfect example of those who are completely controlled by television, popular opinion, and in other words, the matrix. They protect the system, rarely let new information in, and they don't even know why. They're not even conscious of it. She and people like her listen to the people who are given authority in this dimension. And people with this mindset listen to the status quo opinions without using their own common sense, and even despite things being right before their eyes. Without any research or critical thought, her mind is made up and closed. Another example, if someone has an opinion suggesting something like 9/11 was an inside job or whatever have you. Again, I'm not saying that in this video, I'm just using another example. People, just like the aforementioned, immediately leap into ridicule, labeling that person a conspiracy theorist, and they shut it down. In truth, how do they know either way? What confirms their belief that it's not? Nothing. Most of us have no clue what governments are doing, so no one is really in a position to consider someone's opinion ridiculous or impossible. In fact, they brainwash us what to think. So if something was actually being hidden, the doubting person would be the last to know. Use your mind. If there was in fact something that they didn't want us to know, what makes certain people feel that they would hear it on the news either way? Being comfortable in this matrix, easily believing readily available explanations for things, and the arrogance of thinking you know things when you don't, is ironically the thing that keeps people ignorant. You start to attain true wisdom when you open yourself up to thought and possibilities. You weigh things out and you think for yourself without dismissing things as impossible. Just because a corporate shill says so, nothing is a given that you didn't scrutinize first. We need a reverence for facts and truth over assumptions. People need to learn the difference between knowing things and believing things. There is a huge difference. Taking things as unresearched givens or just repeating regurgitated ideologies keeps you from evolving. Keep your mind open, not closed and conditioned. When you regain your mind back from its imprisonment, you can begin the path of regaining control. Breaking free of the matrix entails a lot of unlearning things you were programmed with, knowing that you truly don't know anything, and beginning the path of processing data correctly, moving forward. 2. Awareness. Be aware of the traps in place. People are diverted off of their life course and controlled because they spend most of the time hypnotized by mind control devices made readily available to us. It's the TV, phones, and our devices constantly pumping thoughts and ideas into our minds every single day. Stop believing things you see and hear on TV. Much of it is lies, and everything is controlled by powerful entities that do not have our best interests at heart. Even many celebrities are in on the act, and sometimes it's not their fault. People in the public eye who don't play by the rules are sometimes character assassinated with false narratives. I've spoken on this a lot. Some are bumped off, and some are compromised and controlled, serving various agendas, and sometimes whether they even know it or not.
Well, I think that, this is a culture of fear, and nobody's more afraid than people in Hollywood. They're afraid that they'll drop out of the top, they're afraid that they'll drop from the bottom of the pyramid, maybe to the middle of the pyramid. But, they're the ones, Hollywood is the one that keeps all this power structure and all this culture of racism and sexism and classism and genderism and all of it in place. They continually feed it, and they make a lot of money doing it. And they do it at the behest of their masters who run everything. And it's a big culture of mind control too. MK Ultra mind control rules in Hollywood. If you don't know, Google that and look into it.
You have to be aware at all times. The powers that be do this because they want to maintain control. So they don't want popular people going against the grain, backing the wrong causes, or speaking about things they don't want you to hear. They use celebrities to sell products, to promote social movements and ideas, to influence your thought. You can't trust any of it. Think with your own mind. They do it through the media. They show you things in the news to purposely promote racism, to promote war, to promote sexism and divisions. And they often disguise groups causing division as something good. If you give your energy to these toxic traps they keep baiting you with, you'll be locked in the spirit of division. You'll be blocked from any kind of enlightenment and perpetually living in a lower version of yourself. And when they have you in a lower version of yourself, you're compromised, locked in illusions and delusions, and it will be much, much harder for you to ever wake up. At least being aware that the system is trying to pull you down and keep you locked in a lower version of yourself is nearly half of what you need to not let that happen. Number 3, diet. Yes, you are what you eat. And what you eat is crucial to your development. I'm a vegan on a plant-based diet for many reasons, but also because I don't want to eat food that lowers my vibration. We're living in a time in which people are so detached from food and the growing and making of food that people are eating toxic poisons effortlessly all day. That in itself is a sure sign of being locked in the matrix. What we put in our bodies and digest on a daily basis is one of the most important things. Eating the dead flesh of chemically treated, hormone-pumped animals is an obvious disruption to your body chemistry, and it keeps you on a very lowered vibration. And I'm not debating with anyone about prerogatives. I'm telling you the truth. You take it or leave it, and you do what you want. Corporations train us to think according to their bottom line interest. And so we're programmed to eat for taste and not nutrition. Most of us don't even read labels to find out what just 2 of any long-worded chemicals are in the products we're eating. They promote the worst inedible garbage to us that is not food. What it does in the long term takes a toll. Our daily consumption of this trash anchors us down. It deadens our senses. It makes us overall unhealthy, and it affects the very ability to vibrate higher or to think clearly. In the US, they put fluoride in the water. They put poison in the foods and vaccines and medicines. And there's a lot they don't tell you about this. Many of those chemicals calcify the pineal gland, and they know that. In a nutshell, the end result is that it keeps you vibrating low and asleep. So if anyone is serious about waking up, raising vibrational energy, and improving their quality of life, then fixing the diet is a must. Staying away from low vibrating people. This is pretty important. In order to break free of the matrix, you have to learn how to navigate life among low vibrational people. People are constantly trying to discourage your artistic, altruistic, or creative endeavors, and they want you to be mired in 3-dimensional issues like they are. People try to pull you down into racism, tribalism, political affiliations, and other social groups that give you definitions and labels. There's even a lot of vloggers out there on this platform with huge followings misleading people with nonsense. In general, most people don't want to have deep conversation and may make you feel weird for even attempting one. Questions about higher consciousness, how we got here, the purpose of life, etc., is discouraged. And instead, the false implication that life and everything around you is random and meaningless is promoted through various implications and suggestion. That is a lie. Don't let them infect your mind. If you're a high vibrating, awakening person, then you already know that that's not true, and don't waste your time trying to argue that, because you don't need to justify it to anyone. You're a part of a knowing that you don't need to defend. Wasting your time to do that in and of itself wastes a lot of your energy. When you show people the truth, like I try to do on this channel, sometimes people needed to hear it, and the people who see it or get it will get it. but it's not your job to convince people who subconsciously don't want to. You need to know that you are not weird. You're just among people who are living in ignorance. And they're comfortable that way. They're a part of this system. They don't choose to vibrate high enough to question things, to explore things on a deeper level, or possess a desire to change anything. Some of these people are our friends and family, and that's okay. But you have to learn how to not let certain one-dimensional entities become too influential in your life. They'll hold you down and they'll hold you back. Continue to vibrate high and surround yourself around positive people on your same frequency or higher. Living a life hiding who you really are and never talking about the things you want to talk about is a sure way to be locked off of your path. This is not about telling people what to do, as I have no interest in preaching, persuading, or convincing anyone of anything. This is food for thought for anyone, but much of this is directed towards people who are already on the path of waking up. I personally benefited from other content creators who put information out there when I didn't have a clue what was going on, because there isn't always people around you who could explain certain things when you need a certain type of help and guidance. With all that said, we're here to be the best versions of ourselves. And in order to do that, breaking free of the control systems and the people locking us down is crucial to changing the trajectory of our experience. Live your life, enjoy your life, and to the best of your ability, stay woke.